Okay, I've got the kitchen all cleaned up. The stuff that doesn't go in the dishwasher, I have this nice microfiber drying mat that I get at Bed Bath & Beyond for like 20 bucks. Sometimes you can find them on sale. And to shine up this sink, I got these at the general store in Monmouth, which carries just about anything and everything. If you can't find it there, they will order it for you. It's called stainless steel wipes. And it was probably, it was 99 cents for a whole bunch. And you have to seal it up so they won't dry. But I used one of these and I scrubbed all the, stuff around here. And so I'm planning tonight, I'm going to do something simple because tomorrow I'm teaching a soap making course to a local woman who does this Mountain Mama salves and balms and aromatherapy products. And I used to make soap, but now I just do it as a hobby because, Dove, Lever Brothers, there's not much money in it for hobbyists. And I just, I like to do different things and not just one thing. So tonight I'm going to do Tourtiére Pie. Tourtiére Pie is, well, my mother is French-Canadian descent, and she passed away in November. So I'm getting sort of nostalgic for it. It's usually made at Christmas, and every French-Acadian family had their own secret Tourtiére Pie recipe. But we did ours simple. If we had a pork roast on Sunday, Mom would hand me the meat grinder, and I'd have to grind it by hand, and we'd put a little ground beef, or vice versa. If we had beef, we'd put a little ground pork and mix it up with onion and potato a little bit, and that was it. That was how we used our leftovers. So I'm just going to do a simple crust with lard, flour, salt, and water. And I've got some lard in the fridge, but you can use Crisco or whatever you want for your crust. You can even use store-bought crust, I don't care. And I've got most of what's on here. I just get a little pork and beef. And if I can get it ground to save myself time, I will. If not, I'll buy some and, grind it up myself. For dessert, I'm not going to try anything fancy. I'm just going to do a simple custard, and this is the Better Homes and Garden cookbook. I've had it for years. And I'm just doing a stirred custard, 3 beaten eggs, 2 cups milk, 4 cups sugar, teaspoon vanilla, and you can put it over fruit, or just Robert said he wants it straight, so that's what I'm going to do. So, I've got a few, these are Maine potatoes here, and this one's a little bad. I'm just going to, shred these up, put them in with my pie. I might even put it in the cast iron pan because, I just get paranoid because my Pyrex pie plate blew up once. Shards of hot apple pie everywhere. It's kind of dangerous. So anyway, I got to run to the store and get some eggs and the pork and beef filling, and I'll be back and we'll cook later. Bye for now. Okay, I got some ground pork. It happens to be Smithfield. That was the cheapest one. And a little bit of ground beef, onion, some potatoes, chicken stock. And that's going to go for the filling. And maybe some spices. I think pepper, maybe some cinnamon, I don't know. And lard. And salt, flour, water. That's going to be the pie crust. And that's it. I'm going to start making the pie crust so I can chill it before I roll it out. Alright, so I've got the lard. Or you can use your Crisco, whatever, but lard actually makes a really good pie crust. So you can buy the snow-cap lard, or you can render your own, doesn't matter. But I'm just putting it in with this pastry masher. You can use a fork or food processor or whatever you feel like. I just like doing it like this because I'd rather clean off one utensil than get out a whole food processor, blender, whatever. So just keep doing it until it's all really well incorporated. They say until it's the size of peas, but you just don't want a lot of loose flour around. Just keep doing that, and then take a tablespoon and sprinkle ice water in one at a time and mix it slowly, because you don't want it too sticky, but you don't want it too dry. And then when it gets, enough where you can mix it by hand, do that. Don't touch it very much, and put it in a ball, wrap it in plastic, and put it in the fridge. Or you can put it in pancakes, whatever. But don't overwork it once you start adding the water, or it's going to be tough. Okay, I've got like 2 little sort of pancakes of dough here. See how it's still kind of falling apart? It's a little wet, but I put a little flour around it, and we're going to put a little more when we roll it, so it's okay. And this is just the bag that the meat came in. And I'm going to be putting that in the fridge in 1 second. But I've got my fry pan over here. I'm going to brown up my ground beef. And in my family, you always sprinkle a little salt on the bottom of the pan. I don't know why. It's just something they do. So, just going to do that. Break it up. And I season this pan with liquid lecithin, which you put some in and you heat it up. It's really soupy. Let's get it in. Then heat it up and you get it all around, and then I put it upside down with a cookie sheet under it in the oven for, I don't know, 300 or something for half an hour or whatever, and then let it cool. And it seasons it up really, really well, so it's kind of, really good. Really easy to clean. Then I'm going to brown this up, drain out the fat, and then I'm going to brown up the pork, and then I'm going to saute a little onion and mix it all together with some grated potatoes. Okay, if you have it, chop up a slice of bacon and just I'm just going to throw it in with the fork. I don't care. Get it crispy and browned up. I took out a lot of the fat because I just did. And I'll put that in a snack baggie and put it in the freezer. And then if I want some lardons for coq au vin or something like that, there they are right there. So brown up the pork. Ground beef already done. Gonna shred up some potato, and once the pork and bacon are done, I'm gonna take that out and fry up a little onion. So I pretty much am not an expert onion cutter. I figure as long as they're close to the same size, that's fine, and I don't cut my finger. And a lot of times I will put my hand on top of the knife just to avoid cutting my fingers, because I know that in theory that you're supposed to keep your fingers away like this, but I always end up doing this, and I slice my thumb more than once, cutting something hard like a sweet potato. So I do that whole hand on top of the knife thing when I get to the end. And you want to save out the end of the onion and some of the skin for the gravy process. So we'll go over that in a few minutes. Okay, I'm cooking the onion on medium low because I have an electric stove top and it's hard to regulate, and I don't want to burn it. I want to cook them all the way through. And I've got one grated potato here, and then I just, whatever was left, instead of grating my knuckles, I just chopped up a little. That's fine. Over here I've got about a teaspoon and a half of ground cinnamon, and a quarter teaspoon of garam masala. You could put, because I don't have any ground cloves, and I could grind them up if I wanted to, but I don't feel like it. And cracked black pepper, several good turns of that, and then maybe half a teaspoon, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 3 or 4 shakes out of my hummingbird. And that's going to get mixed in with all of this. Just pour in your and you don't have to use the cinnamon and cloves. You could just use salt and pepper. And I'm not putting anything hot in because that's not traditional. So I'm just going to stir these up. I'm going to add in my chicken stock because pork is the main flavor in here, not beef. And my onion skin, and maybe season a little, and then a little flour to thicken it up. Then I'm going to roll up my crust, put the filling in, put it in a 375-degree oven for probably about an hour at least, to let it cook really well. And we'll keep going from here. Okay, we've got 2 cups of chicken stock, and I strained the fat out too. And then we've got the end of an onion and the brown pieces. We're going to get those out before we put it in. And getting ready to roll out the pie dough. And almost done. Okay, I siphoned off about half a cup of broth and put it over about a 1/4 cup of flour into my martini shaker. And you just shake it like this. And don't let the top fly off. I have to put it down, but my sister used one of those milkshake shakers years ago, and but you just want to mix the flour up really well. You could stir with a fork too, but I'm going to shake it. Alright, I have to put the camera down so I don't lose my gravy. Okay, the cool thing about using a martini shaker is that you can strain out your lumps as you pour your flour and broth. I added a little bit more water because it was just not, you know, making it. So, no lumps. There you go. Shaken, not stirred. Then, you know, obviously you're not going to be holding a camera, you're going to go like this, right? And keep stirring it really low or even heat off. Don't, you know, there's another onion skin. Let's grab that out. I just have it in a little basket over here. Okay? And just keep stirring until it gets thick. And then, you know, we're going to put this in a bowl and wipe this all out. Spray it with some high temp. I got some high temp Pan professional cooking spray I'm going to put on just to be safe, even though this is treated. And we'll put it all together. I got the crust rolled out on the bottom. I use a marble rolling pin because I happen to get one for free, and I've got a wooden one too. But I made it extra large because I wanted to go up and drape over so that I can make a nice edge when I put the top crust on. Okay, how I'm going to clean this out, I've got it off the heat over here, and I'm just going to, you know, wipe it out with a piece of bread. That way I can make sure the gravy's seasoned properly and all that. I didn't taste it, I just poured it in over the meat. We're not fancy here. It's pretty good. It's just a straight sort of oniony. It's got that rich onion flavor because you put the skin in and everything. So, it's very good. Okay, I'm waiting for this to cool before I spray it with cooking spray because I don't want to have a kitchen fire. But I just put in a couple of capfuls of apple cider vinegar. Don't ask me why. It's something we do in soup too at the end. You put in a little vinegar. And I'm going to take a break, have a glass of wine, and wait for the pan to cool. And there's the husbandman. Are you looking for the Tourtiére Pie, Robert? Meat pie?
Not looking for it yet.
Are you looking forward to it?
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, I know you're 59 and part deaf.
Absolutely.
All right.
In the meantime, I'm going to have some biscuits. No, I'm not.
We're out of Triscuits. We use the mister for the hummus.
Okay.
I'll get you a snack.
Yar.
All right. Okay, we've got our filling in there, and this is really deep, so you can add more filling or more potato or whatever if you want, but this is how I'm going to do it. And I roll out the top crust, and what I like to do is I'll roll it out, and then I'll flip it and roll it again, and I'll flip it and roll it again, put just a dusting of flour. That way, you know, when you go to pick it up, it's not going to stick to the counter, because I've had that happen. I just had it happen to me because I forgot to do it, and it stretched out like a little thin in places, but I'm going to fix that when I put the top on, and I just don't want to overhandle the crust, so I'm leaving it as it is because it'll be flaky. So I'm just going to, you know, some people roll it onto the pan and unroll it, and I just like fold it over half, put the half on here and unfold it, and then I, you know, crimp it with whatever, my fingers or a fork or something, and put some slits on the top. I trimmed up the dough, and I actually put it inside a little bit more because I don't want to burn the edges, and I may actually cover it with foil if I see it burning. And I have this great old red paring knife. Over the driver missed. We'll see. Philly steer. Mono. Bunch of and I'm going to do that and slice it into need that never what I do is I take this. Just it. Be gentle with it, and just kind of scrape it up, and take your napkin or your paper towel. Just keep working on it a little, because as soon as you put water on it, you're going to have a big, massive mess of glue all over your countertop. So that's just a little tip. And this is one of my meat thermometers. That's not the one my father-in-law gave me. He gave me a digital one, but this is an old one. So I'm just like, you can even use a credit card. I mean, why buy things with them when you can use them to scrape your countertop? Alright, so we've got the Tourtiére in the oven. I've got my little jelly roll sandwich thing underneath. I moved it up a little because I didn't want it to burn on the bottom. I'm going to try it for like 20-25 minutes, and it'll be good to go. I almost dropped the camera. I need a cameraman. I should ask Woodstock Bob to come up here, because he knows filmmaking. Anyway, I've got the Tourtiére here. It's getting brown. I forgot to tell you, I put milk on it, and if I were at a restaurant, I would use a brush, but I just dipped my fingers in a cup of milk and put it on, but not on the edges, because I didn't want to get too brown. And on this thing, I did put an egg yolk wash, because I had some egg yolk left over, because Robert loves the shiny stuff. But excuse me, when we grew up, I always dabbed milk on the crust. I just did, and I've used egg wash before, but I want it to be like the old-fashioned Tourtiére. And I would imagine during the Depression, eggs would have been at a premium. They would have been selling them or eating them for protein, not using them. But milk would have been less at a premium, because cows give milk all the time. And I just like the softer touch of milk on a crust. So we're looking good. I set it for a little bit longer because I'm just smelling it. You smell it when it's done, and I don't want it to burn, but it's just not quite done yet. And after a while, you get a feel for this sort of thing. You can smell it, and you go, oh, Not to say I haven't burned some things before. One day I was making apple crumble. Let me close this up. And we were living in this apartment in Portland with a little galley kitchen. It was terrible. And it wasn't getting brown. And Robert's like, why don't you broil it a little? And I'm like, hit it with the broil. I'm like, all right. So I did, and then I walked away. And I walked back in the kitchen, and my apple crumble was on fire because, butter, brown sugar, broiler. It's not the first time I've got something on fire. And I'm like, Robert. Sorry. I'm about frog in my throat. It's all rainy today. And I'm like, Robert. And he came in, and he yanked it out, and he went, whew, and he blew it out. Here, this is my husband, Robert. His taste testing, his savory snack. It is shaved beef, pecorino romano, Swiss cheese, capers, and egg yolk, rolled up in my leftover pastry crust from my Tourtiére Pie. What do you think, Robert?
Yar!
No, come on. Stop the pirate talk. Is that the best thing you've ever tasted?
Very good.
Very good. Does that satisfy your tummy until the pie cools off?
Yes.
Alright, so now we're going to this is my little baby kitty Money Penny. She's so cute. She's a little tiny thing. I love her. And over here is the Tourtiére Pie that I made in the cast iron pan. All of it. Look at that crust. I barely touched it. Barely touched it. It's flaking on air, man. No one can make a better crust than me. No one! Okay, this is the Tourtiére, made in the cast iron pan. The whole thing was made in the cast iron pan. And I'm about to cut into it now. I like the serrated knife better for cutting. And I have this Tiki Pie server that I got at Hannaford. This was the appetizer I made for Robert. It was just like a jelly roll of beef and lots of other things, which I said before. I'm tired. I've been up since 3:45 this morning. Forgive me. So I'm gonna cut into it now. Look at this. Look at how it flakes. I didn't even touch it. I barely touched it. Oh man, this is going to be so good. Hold on, I'll get it out and I'll put it on the plate and show you. Look at this. Ground beef, ground pork, onion, gravy made from homemade chicken stock. It's amazing. And the handmade pastry. Oh my god. I can't wait to taste it. And I wish you were here to taste it too.